Sorry, Al, I didn't say anything funny this week. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Optimistic Underdog podcast, where we bring you official sports news with unofficial sports people. Today, my guest is the one, the only, Lexi Gunner. Lexi, what is up?
Hello. Nothing much.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well on a fine, gloomy Sunday.
It's another February day, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I, as always, am Erica, and we are going to bring you these sports stories today. So let's not waste any time. Let's jump right into it. Lexi, what is your big story for the week?
Well, this week, I have to talk about my Michigan State Spartans because last week there was talks about us not making the tournament. Pretty much it was going to be the first time in I want to say 25, 26 years of not making it.
Wow.
So it was pretty much crunch time, and we've been, it's been a rough year. And so, they said we had to win a good 4 out of these last 6 games. And coming into this week, 2 games that we had to play were against ranked teams. They were top 5. So the first game Tuesday was number 4 team. No, was it number 4, number 5? No, I can't remember. I want to say number 5. Yeah, they were number 5. So we go into that game. It's at home. I'm on the edge of my seat the entire time. Just make it a good game. Come on. And we ended up pulling it out. So I'm like, oh awesome. My God, best game of the year. No one saw this coming. So we roll into Thursday, playing a number 4 team. Same thing, on the edge of my seat. We get our 2 best guys in foul trouble in the first half. So I'm like, all right, this is it. This is the time for them to just, crush us. We tried. Halftime, it was only down 6. So I'm like, okay, we have a chance. Mm-hmm. Second half comes. You want to talk about a nail biter? I already don't have any nails. So it's just wire to wire. We don't get the lead until a minute left. And it just came down to rebounding, hitting free throws, end up winning it by 4. Tears of joy.
That's awesome.
I'm still in shock. So now we went from having to win a good 4 out of 6 to now I think we only need 2 more to still try to get in. 2 out of these next 4 that we have coming up or whatever, just to still get in the tournament. We're not quite in yet, but we're right there.
Oh, that's that close.
Yeah, I'm still nervous. I'm still shaking. When the game comes on today, I'm gonna be just like this again. Just come on. So I'm excited.
As of recording this, we have about 32 minutes, not like we're counting or anything, until game time. So,
but it's fine. I can miss the first 5 minutes. Like I said, the last game came down to the last minute. So
we'll get there. But it's exciting. And I'm excited because I don't know anything about basketball. So I'm super excited to learn more about it. So tell me a little bit about March Madness. I want to know a little bit more.
Okay. So March Madness basically is college basketball's big playoff tournament of 68 teams from around the US, and you're in this 68 bracket format, and you play teams you never heard of, which is nice, so you get to know more about the underdogs. It goes from 68 teams for 2 weeks. They break it down from 68 all the way down to the Sweet 16 to the Elite 8 left, and then you got your Final 4, and then you got the big championship at the end. So it's just the madness of it is just that you don't know what to expect. It's win or go home. The 1 seed plays a 16th seed. We've seen the 16th seed beat the 1 seed a good 2 years ago, I think. So That's always great to see an underdog beat the Dukes, because you don't watch it, but you know who Duke is. So
exactly. And these are all words I've heard before, Sweet 16, Final 4. Everyone's heard those terms before. I remember popping off caps for my Mountain Dew bottles and seeing these sports team names under them. We've all seen those before, and we knew what they were for. But I mean, just to learn more about it, which is great. Which reminds me, keep an eye out for Let's Learns on our Patreon about more sports things coming soon. So, haha.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, it's super exciting, and I know tons of people, even people who aren't into basketball, get super amped over March Madness. I mean, how can you not? I mean, the marketing team deserves an award for just the name alone. So
Mm-hmm.
they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, and they were talking about, if COVID was going to get into in the way, move it to May Mayhem. So, it's like they were really trying to keep it going, and because they canceled it last year.
Yeah.
So, and that was a
Thankfully, there's
heartbreaker.
more than 1 month that starts with M, and they can just kind of move it around, so we're good.
Come up with different words and stuff and still get it going. But yeah, the madness is just the best part about it because everyone has a
Mhm.
chance and upsets are going to happen.
Exactly, and I mean, it's always great seeing the underdog kind of take over, especially like you said, someone beating Duke. Everyone knows who Duke is. Everyone's heard of
Hmm.
Duke, and I mean, you love an underdog story. Yeah, I know I do. It's part of the reason we have this podcast named The Optimistic Underdog. That's
Yeah.
kind of where we got the name, and it's great. I love it, and I'm gonna be, the Spartans. It sounds like a great underdog story to start rooting for right now. So hey,
Yeah.
I might have to tune into the game later and give it a watch because, like I've said, I do not come from a basketball town. We do not have much basketball here, and it's always been a sport that I've wanted to get into more, and I just
Mhm.
never had the exposure to it. So
Mhm.
looking forward to learning more about it. That's for sure. So
Oh yeah, it's exciting, and it's on. They have it on different channels. So whether you want to watch the game on cable or on like your
mhm,
local channels, like it's everywhere. So
that's
yeah.
awesome. Definitely gonna have to check it out. Very cool. All right. Well, I'm sure we're going to talk a bit more about March Madness in a few moments, but let me talk about my story that happened this week, which is obviously about hockey. But hey, let's take it out of Pittsburgh and we're going to go up to the Montreal Canadiens, where they fired head coach Claude Julian and assistant coach Kirk Muller this week, which,
Mhm.
I mean, I would like to say that I'm shocked. I know some people were shocked, but I don't think I'm shocked. Uh, Claude Julian, big name in coaching. We've seen him coach other teams like the Bruins, things like that. He's been with the Canadians for 4 years. That's a pretty good chunk of time. His record there was 129, 123, and 35. So just barely over 500. But he really wasn't doing anything super there. They were the lowest ranking team to qualify for playoffs last year, and they did beat the Penguins in the qualifying round, which was kind of sad here. But again, the whole underdog thing, I couldn't be totally sad about it. So they did lose to the Flyers in the first round, though, with how playoffs were set up last year. Uh, General Manager Mark Bergevin did say he would like to sincerely thank Claude and Kirk for their contributions to the team over the past 5 years that they worked together. He has great respect for both men and he holds them in high regards. Um, they do have Dominic, and I am going to butcher this last name, Ducharme, maybe? Question mark. Don't have any idea how you say his last name. Um, as their interim head coach, but this is actually my biggest thing with this. So I think this is the first head coach firing we've seen this year in hockey. And it's a Canadian team. Now, the Canadians currently in the North Division are sitting in fourth place. Uh, 20 games played, not bad for them. That's actually tied for the lowest with Winnipeg up there. And they only have 9 wins, 23 points. That's pretty bad considering Toronto is at the top of that league with 30 points. But are they going to just leave the interim head coach in, or are they going to start looking for a new head coach? Now, we've seen that we have some border restrictions. Obviously, all the Canadian teams are playing against each other up in the north, while all of the US teams had their divisions reconfigured a bit to, kind of make way for that. But are they going to just leave this interim head coach in for a team that may or may not make playoffs and could possibly, but maybe not do anything this season? Or are they going to, try to scramble and find a head coach? I think this is a pretty interesting question. So, we saw with the Penguins when Jim Rutherford left, kind of like really out of nowhere with the general manager position, they were pretty quick to jump on that for a rehire with Hextall and Brian Burke. We saw them jump on that pretty quickly, and it was resolved within 2 weeks. But this head coach position's a little bit different, I think. So I don't know. What do you think? Just if you saw this happen in basketball, say, do you think the head coach would be fired in the middle of the season, especially given times right now? Do you think they would just leave the interim head coach in, or do you think they would look out and try to rehire, especially mid-season too? Like we're in the middle of the season.
Usually, yeah, that's what happens in the NBA. Like I think it did happen actually. The Minnesota coach got fired, and I'm not sure who the interim is, but I'm pretty sure he's coaching right now. And yeah, there's been no talks as far as who's going to take over and all that, but they do have an interim right now, so it does happen.
Yeah, I think Well, and that's what Bergevin said. He didn't want to wait to make a change behind the bench. And he's quoted to say, the hard thing to watch is the swing from being a really good hockey team that was playing with pace, was engaged, playing to our identity, which is speed, and then going to the other side to a team that's looking for anything, he said. So it's going to be interesting, I think. Now, Bergevin did say that he would the interim head coach would 100% remain at the helm for the rest of the season. But we've seen GMs say that and change their minds all the time. So I think it's an interesting situation, and especially right now with these shorter seasons and all the restrictions, I think it's just interesting to see where things are going to go and what teams may or may not do, especially with the trade deadline coming up so soon as well. So we will see. I think it's interesting. And I'm so, like I said, I was a little surprised. There was a lot of rumors last year that they were going to fire Julian, but for them to decide to just do it this year instead, I think it was a little surprising. But yeah, we will see. It's going to be interesting. So, all right. Well, that will take care of my story for the day. I don't have any silly sports stories this week, which was kind of upsetting. We were talking about this in the pre-show, but two things just that I did want to touch on. Obviously, I think we all heard about the terrible car accident that Tiger Woods was in this week. We are wishing him the best. It did sound like his surgery was pretty successful, which is a good thing. They said that, I know there's been a lot of talk as if he's going to be able to come back. I mean, they said he'll surprise you. I know there was an article in the New York Post that said, he's got a lot of drive, man. If he can come back, he's had 5 back surgeries, I think, something like that.
Yeah,
That's impressive. And he just had another back surgery not that long ago. If he's got the will, I would not be surprised to see him back on the golf course at some point in time. And that would be the best thing. So, and that's why I know you were saying that they were honoring him today by wearing his red shirt. So,
yeah, I mean, I didn't see the major he won. Excuse me if that's not the right, golf tournament, but like the one he won in 2019, like no one saw that coming. So, I would never count him out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not counting Tiger out of anything. And honestly, the most golf I play is putt-putt and Mario Golf. So
me too.
I apologize for any wrong words that we use for golf here. If anyone knows more about golf, please contact me at the OU Pod on Twitter or any DM anywhere. I would love to have you on the show at some point in time to talk about golf. Also, I do want to touch on, and of course, had to bring it up, Sidney Crosby played his 1,000th game in the NHL, which for a while there, I think, a lot of us were a little worried that he was never going to do, and it's pretty impressive. He is actually the first person on the Pittsburgh Penguins to complete 1,000 games for the team. Not even Mario Lemieux did that. So that's pretty impressive. I know that if a few folks that were talking to me that night, I was just crying a lot at a lot of the tribute videos that they had for him. And it was a pretty touching night. And you know what? Hey, I think we won that night. It was pretty good. So it was good times. Good times. All
Yeah,
right.
I mean, he's hated here, but good for him.
I mean, he's hated just about everywhere that's not Pittsburgh, I think. So, I mean, and I totally get it. It's understandable.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I know, it's fair. Uh, all right. Well, let's get into what is coming up soon. So, I know, obviously, let's talk a bit about March Madness because it is just about that day. So, let's talk about March Madness. Let's talk about what you're excited about for it because I do want to know more about it.
Well, one, I'm excited to see my team still try to make that push because, like I said, we're not in yet. I'm not sure the exact date that it starts. I want to say maybe that second weekend in March. So we still got a good 2 out of these last 4 games on the regular season schedule to still try to get in.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm excited for right now. As far as the tourney itself, I was telling my friend the other day, like, if we don't make it, I'm not even gonna watch it. I'm just gonna be that hurt.
It made me
Like,
sad.
yeah, like
You
I don't
know?
see them going that far, like to the Sweet 16 and all that. Like, I
Mhm.
just want them to make it, keep the streak going. And
Yeah.
if we do make it, this will be the worst team that made it, but we made it.
Hey,
So,
you made it, and that's all that matters.
mhm.
March Madness starts Thursday, March 18th, so we are
Okay,
getting close. We're almost there. That's only 2 weeks away. I'm just about 2 weeks away. So,
okay.
it's getting there. Hey, you know what? It doesn't matter who makes it. I've seen teams make the, Stanley Cup playoffs by their
Hmm.
teeth and they win the cup, you
Right.
never know. And
Hmm.
that's the best part. I mean, and like I said, last year, the Canadians, with how they did the rounds last year, you had a qualifier round. No
Hmm.
one thought the Canadians were going to beat the Penguins, and hey, they made it to the first round of the playoffs. And so technically, that was the first year that the Penguins didn't make the playoffs in
Hmm.
a really, really long time. That was, I think, that technically broke our streak, but I don't know because things are weird right now. So who really knows what
Hmm.
things are? But
Yeah.
yeah, it's all about being the underdog. And like I said, I love a good underdog story. That's
Me
why I
too.
have a signed picture of Kurt Warner in my bedroom. I love him. He's one of my favorite players of all time. So
Nice.
yeah, I just love it. And even if you look at my jerseys, I don't have any big name player jerseys. I have all these guys that most people don't remember after 2 years once they've been out of the league
Yeah.
because those are my favorites. And they're fun. They're the most fun to watch. I love the undrafted guys. I love these fun guys. And I think that's probably why I love the FCF so much is because they're a bunch of underdogs that, they would have never gotten a chance in football if, the FCF didn't give them a shot. So it's
Right.
super
Right.
cool. I love it. So heck yeah.
Hmm.
As for me, I don't have anything fun coming up, no sports. I'm the most excited I think I am, especially since we did the Let's Learn about the FCF last week. I'm excited for the draft this week. Now that I understand it more, now that I'm a bit more into it, and
Hmm.
now that even though the season is actually starting to get close to an end because there's only a few games in a season,
Yeah.
it's which is a little sad. But I'm excited to like take parts in the drafts now. It's so like, that you actually, you know, get to participate in picking the players. And
Mhm.
like, we all sat and listened and watched the game together last night. And even though the Wild Aces lost, which was
I
sad.
heard about that because I was popping in and out. Like I was like, like when they were down, what was it,
Mhm,
14 zip? I was like, oh boy.
mhm.
And then I popped back in and I saw we were up, and then wake up this morning, we lost. Like,
That
man.
game was a roller coaster of emotions, and let me tell you, when you're sitting in Discord with, like, 16 other people and they
Mhm.
make that Hail Mary pass at the end of the game for
Wow.
54 yards and that man catches it, I'm saying it. I said at the beginning of the game, I said, "If the Zappers win, it's all because Johnny Manziel ain't playing this week," and that's all I'll say. That's all I'll say.
Wow.
So
So he did play or he didn't play?
no, he was out last night. He did not play. It was not
Oh,
Manziel was not in last night. It was
wow.
fantastic. So I'm just glad that they won a game and he wasn't playing. He still has no wins. That's cool. And Trav Daddy was the one who caught that football at the end,
Of
which makes me
course.
sad because I still wish he was on our team.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen it, Matt Batson made a very great video. You should check him out on Twitter.
Okay.
Uh,
Hmm.
about him missing Tribe Daddy. So it was a good video. But yes, I'm most excited about FCF. If you guys have not checked out the Let's Learn video yet, you definitely should. We had a great conversation with Jose Ruckus about his podcast, learning more about football. And actually, it's great because I was speaking to him just the other night, and he said that since doing the podcast, he was actually thinking like, oh, maybe there are probably more people who don't know a lot about football who are watching this stuff for the first time. And he's been talking more about football, like actual learning about football stuff in his podcast too. So it's pretty cool. And he's actually doing a podcast today with Jerdy's dad, which is super, super cool. So he does some great podcasts over there. So definitely check him out as well at Ace is Wild Pod. He's doing some awesome stuff. So yeah.
Sounds
awesome,
good.
awesome. So, but hey, I think that is all I've got to talk about. Lex, anything else from you?
I'm trying to think anything else going on. Besides the madness.
It's just madness.
Right.
That's all we've got here is
Just
madness.
ready for the madness.
Awesome. Well, I'm ready for March Madness. I think I'm going to try to get into it a little bit this year. Hopefully the Spartans make it so that Lexi can be there with me and she can help me learn more about basketball because I would love that so much. So
yeah, no problem.
Awesome. All right, Lex. Well, please tell the good people where they can find you.
You can find me at Lexi_Gunner on Twitter. Same thing on Instagram. Yeah, that's it.
Heck yeah.
I don't Twitch yet, but I'm still thinking about it. So that's it.
Someday we'll get her there. I hope. So, but hopefully Lexi will come back and join me soon because that would be so awesome. And you can find me at all the usual places, Ambelina on Twitch and Twitter. And you can find me with the guys over at the OUPod.com where we're talking about New Girl Still. We're almost done with season 1, which just, I can't believe it. We are going to be doing more of the movies and music, and those table reads are coming really soon, and I can't wait for you guys to see them because they're so exciting. So but yeah, I think that's all we got. Also, if you want, check out the Patreon. Like I said, we do have more stuff coming soon. It's going to be exciting. But if you don't want to support us there, that is all good. No big deal. We just appreciate the likes, the subscribes, the reviews, the comments. We love all that stuff oh so much. So if you wouldn't mind just, hitting the subscribe thing on the YouTubes, we appreciate it. We're trying to get to 50. That's the goal. 50 by my birthday. And then I also promised Ben if we hit 100, then we can do merchandise because he wants a hoodie. So if you want to get to 100, that would be great. So he'd stop bugging me about hoodies. But okay. So we're going to wrap it up for today. So until next time, keep it unofficial.